If you're new to the idea of modifying your car, you might be surprised to learn that some cosmetic enhancements can land you on the wrong side of the law, but there are plenty of performance upgrades that are no problem at all. Here, we'll look at some of both. We'll start with the legal ones first. Of course, you should check the laws in your state as they can vary. First comes the suspension upgrades. Air suspension is a type of vehicle suspension powered by an electric or engine-driven air pump or compressor. This compressor pumps the air into a flexible bellows, usually made from textile-reinforced rubber. Unlike hydropneumatic suspension, which offers many similar features, air suspension does not use pressurized liquid, but pressurized air. Over the last decade or so, air suspension has become popular in the custom automobile culture. Street rods, trucks, cars, and even motorcycles may have air springs. They are used in these applications to provide an adjustable suspension which allows vehicles to sit extremely low, yet be able to rise to a level high enough to maneuver over obstacles and inconsistencies on paved surfaces. Your ride looks really attractive when it is nearly hugging the ground, and you can adjust it when nearing a bump or something. Next is my favorite, turbochargers and superchargers. In an internal combustion engine, a turbocharger is a forced induction device that is powered by the flow of exhaust gases. It uses this energy to compress the intake air, forcing more air into the engine in order to produce more power for a given displacement. A supercharger also compresses the intake gas, forcing more air into the engine in order to produce more power for a given displacement. The current categorization is that a supercharger is a form of forced induction that is mechanically powered, usually by a belt from the engine's crankshaft, as opposed to a turbocharger, which is powered by the kinetic energy of the exhaust gases. In the 21st century, supercharged production car engines have become less common, as manufacturers have shifted to turbocharging to achieve higher fuel economy and power outputs. Next on the list is sport seats. Seat upgrades are popular car modifications, whether you're a novice racer or you just want to look like one. A set of sport seats looks cool, and if you choose the right ones, they can be much more comfortable and supportive than your car's stock seat. Sport seats can even help improve your driving position. Many manufacturers of actual racing seats caution buyers that they are not suitable for street cars, mainly because race car seats are designed to be used with race harnesses, which are not legal for use as an alternative to a car's factory seatbelt. However, some manufacturers, like Recaro, make sport seats that are legal for street use. Just make sure you can use your factory seatbelt and that installation won't disable any of your car's airbags. Next you can do is paint jobs. An obnoxious paint job might be a crime against good taste, but it's not an actual crime. Generally, you can paint your car however you want, or get a similar effect with a vinyl wrap, as long as it doesn't look like you are trying to impersonate police or an emergency vehicle. There are a few things to bear in mind with the process of repainting your car. However, it's expensive to have a car repainted by a professional, and it's a time-consuming pain to do yourself. If you do decide to paint your car at home, check your local pollution ordinances to make sure you won't get cited for the paint and chemical fumes. You can also tint your windows. Some states have very strict laws regarding window tint. In Illinois, for example, a driver must have a documented medical condition to get away with any front or side window tint. Many other states have laws on the books restricting tint that is reflective or that makes it impossible to see inside the car. However, if you really want tinted windows, you can get away with at least some tint in most states. Tint is measured based on the percentage of light that can still pass through the windows, and states that don't ban tint outright will usually specify a range of permissible percentages. Now for those illegal modifications. Nitrous oxide. A nitrous oxide engine, or nitrous oxide system commonly referred to and known as NOS, is an internal combustion engine in which oxygen for burning the fuel comes from the decomposition of nitrous oxide, and tw.o, as well as air. The system increases the engine's power output by allowing fuel to be burned at a higher than normal rate, because of the higher partial pressure of oxygen injected with the fuel mixture. Nitrous oxide is not flammable at room temperature, it only becomes flammable under extensive pressure. Nitrous injection systems may be dry, where the nitrous oxide is injected separately from fuel, or wet in which additional fuel is carried into the engine along with the nitrous. In Germany, despite its strict TÜV rules, a nitrous system can be installed and used legally in a street-driven car. The requirements for the technical standard of the system are similar to those of aftermarket natural gas conversions. Nitrous oxide should not be used in vehicles with an automatic transmission, as the highly increased engine power and torque may cause stress damage to the torque converter and the transmission itself. Neon underbody lights look very attractive at night. It seems like it's been a while since underbody glow kits had their 15 minutes of fame, but trends always come around again. If neon lighting comes back in vogue, keep in mind that it is illegal in a lot of areas. In the car industry, underglow or ground effects lighting refers to neon or LED aftermarket car customization in which lights are attached to the underside of the chassis so that they illuminate the ground underneath the car. Underglow has become popular in car shows to add aesthetic appeal to the cars. Some US states prohibit underglow on public roads, while other countries restrict their use. In some states, you could be accused of attempting to impersonate a police officer if you add blue or red lighting to the exterior of your car, but other colors are fine. Some states just ban neon lighting entirely since it can be a distraction to other drivers. Next is racing harnesses. You might assume that racing harnesses go hand in hand with seating upgrades, but that's not true, at least if you want to keep your car street legal. Most manufacturers of race harnesses caution buyers that using a harness in place of a factory seatbelt is not legal and can put you at risk in a crash. Even though a race harness is designed to hold you firmly in place in a collision, an unfamiliar harness could delay an emergency response team's ability to get you out of your vehicle. If you do take your vehicle to the track from time to time, you still have options. Revved is a brand that makes harnesses that can be installed without interfering with your factory seatbelts, so you can keep your car both safe and street legal. Up next is the exhaust mods. Emissions modifications are also popular with the diesel truck community, since some of those drivers like to annoy passersby and other motorists by blowing huge plumes of smoke, a practice known as coal rolling. It is a US legal requirement to have a catalytic converter. Converters may not be removed from a vehicle that is used only for off-road driving in the United States. The main purpose of a catalytic converter on an automobile is to reduce harmful emissions of hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere. They work by transforming the polluted exhaust components into water and carbon dioxide. There is a light-off temperature from which catalytic converters start to be efficient and work properly. Lowering a car's suspension is a common and relatively inexpensive aftermarket modification. Many car enthusiasts prefer the more aggressive look of a lowered body, and there is an easily realized car handling improvement from the lower center of gravity. Most passenger cars are produced such that 1 or 2 inches of lowering will not significantly increase the probability of damage. On most automobiles, ride height is modified by changing the length of the suspension springs, and is the essence of many aftermarket suspension kits supplied by manufacturers such as Eibach and H&R. That's all for today. See you in another video.